What became so popular at your school that the teachers had to ban it? Hair flips. Circa 2003, long skater hair was very trendy. Said kids were flipping their hair out of their eyes face. An 8th grade history teacher went on a vendetta under the reasoning that hair flips pollute the air with hair dirt. Kids started getting detentions. Yes. This was around the time Goblet of Fire was made. Randomization. People would gather around a vending machine and chant randomize, and the person performing the ceremony would punch the keyboard and get a random snack. In my high school we just had someone glue a loonie to the floor in front of the machine so everyone would watch random kids try and fail to pick it up. Lol. We did this in college. We would glue a quarter to the sidewalk downtown right on the main drag and sit in an apartment 5 stories up drinking and yelling glue quarter at people trying to pick it up. I definitely spent my time correctly in college. Definitely. This pleases the machine spirit. I literally died laughing at this. I could totally see my younger self finding this hilarious. Such innocence. We are only allowed to have 2 money for bus. If a teacher that even cares caught you, the teacher would be allowed to take the money and keep it. This was changed due to making it a crime. One time a teacher took $250 from a student. Luckily she was forced to give it back. You want to visit a friend and eat ice cream after school? Either you walk home or no ice for you. When exactly was stealing not a crime? When it's the authorities doing the stealing. Civil forfeiture is still a thing. There was a kid in my high school who made probably around $500 in a month for making duct tape wallets. Administration found out but didn't ban the wallets, just banned conducting business on school grounds. Someone went around school and sold his origami at 50p a piece. He'd get orders every day and then make them at home. Sounds like the school should support the entrepreneurship of its more motivated students, assuming everything they are selling is legal. Or it's staffed by bitter, resentful teachers with no business skills. Small business owner doesn't get any respect inside the school system as a career choice. And yet people wonder why there are job shortages and why everything is controlled by big companies. Rulers. Year 10th in HS for whatever reason someone decided to smack a guy across the head with a ruler. Then everyone went out and bought a ruler. Suddenly everyone was a knight with a sword. Staff kept confiscating them, but rulers are cheap, so kids just went out and bought them by the handful. They ended up banning rulers at a school. The kids who were taking geometry that year and needed them had to be assigned rulers at the beginning of class and then turn them back in. If you rub the metal edge of a ruler against the sole of your shoe really fast back and forth it gets hot enough to seriously burn someone and leave a scar. People really cared about their shoes at my school, so thankfully that wasn't a factor. 4. The yardstick is the weapon of the proper knight. Warheads. It grew to such an issue with these sour candies, kids were organizing a black market where the kids with the highest allowance would buy them in bulk from the corner stores for a nickel each, distribute them to upperclassmen for a quarter each, who would turn around and sell them to the final consumer for 50 cents each candy. There was even a barrier to entry. If you wanted in the business, you would have to eat 3 candies at once and not spit it out or throw up. Warheads are the real gateway into drug dealing. A kid in my class had a huge bag of them and ate enough that he got this massive sore on his tongue. They weren't banned though, the teacher just laughed at him. What eventually got them banned from my school was when several of us had that happen. I still have a noticeable scar on my tongue from a warhead sucker. When I was 7 or 8 apparently it damaged my tongue enough to resemble the hole from getting your tongue pierced. If several dentists who've asked if I had my tongue pierced are to be believed. I was in high school when cell phones finally became accessible enough for most people to have one. It took about a week of senior year for them to declare that no phones were allowed anywhere on school property. Same for my class. But now kids literally have those out at their desks using them, and the teachers are compliant. Yeah, the handbook still says no phones allowed, but that's just not a thing anymore. Kids are usually respectful enough not to use them when the teacher is lecturing, but after the lesson is done they're all out. Always, everything. Our class president freshman year ran on making them allowed during lunch, and that turned into they're allowed at all times. By junior year we became a tech-friendly campus and now we have school Wi-Fi and you're allowed to bring in any device you want. Laptop, tablet, whatever. Tech Dex apologies in advance if that's misspelled. Back in middle school I had a teacher that banned Crown Kindat Soldier Boy in her classroom. To be honest, I probably would have done the same thing. M60. When I was in 3rd grade, sunflower seeds were banned. I was told the teachers thought they were drugs. I think it was because they were both messy and counterculture like hippie health food. People bringing in their Game Boy Color and playing during recess. Kids were getting mad they weren't getting turns and they were afraid of someone stealing games. Yes, I also remember when the SP folding Gamma Boy came out. Easier to hide in your pocket and the screen was more protected from being scratched. Side note not related to them being banned at school, SPs were awesome in the car, especially at night. Not having to wait for each street light to do something. Side note not related to them being banned at school, SPs were awesome in the car, especially at night. Not having to wait for each street light to do something. Look at this kid that doesn't even have a worm light. What a loser. I know you're just memeing, but going from that worm light to the backlit SD was like the jump from Virtual Boy to Oculus Rift in my 8-year-old eyes. I was in middle school from 2009 to 2011. Bloons Tower Defense was huge. Everyone played it in any room that had a computer. The school had to install special blockers, but people kept getting around them, so they straight up banned Adobe Flash. Someone at my high school managed to install Quake 3 Arena onto the central server, so it was able to be accessed by any computer connected to the network. There were kids in my web development class playing against other kids having their study hall and the library on the other side of the school. Not sure if the administration ever found out, but the year after I graduated they changed out all of the Windows computers they had for iMacs. We did that exact thing with Unreal Tournament and Soldier of Fortune 1. So many days of LANut. This would have been around 99 to 2001, something like that. We legit had a half an hour lecture in assembly because our year apparently said sorry too often. 3 hours and no one's made a Canada joke yet. Coolmath.com was recently blocked at my school. Well, to be fair, about 90% of the site isn't actually maths related. Yay, I'm especially sad cause I was on day 67 of my papa's Scooperia. Hacky Sacks BC of Killer Hack, where you had to successfully get a certain number of consecutive kicks hits, and then anyone could catch it and whip it at someone. Yep. We called it execution. If you missed the execution on someone else, they had to stand against the wall while we all passed around until one person decided to deliver the second execution. Execution was promptly banned after a member of the circle missed a shot, hit our female vice principal in the forehead, and, instead of being smart and apologizing, yelled teabag. We are lucky we were still allowed to hack, period. This sounds exactly like something my old teenage group of friends would have done. Thanks for the hearty laugh. Huh. We called it 3 hack whack. Fortune tellers, you know those paper origami ones, those and Pokemon cards and Yu-Gi-Oh cards too. Really? Wow. Nobody at my school knew how to make those. Everyone knew how to at mine, and I think the school probably banned them due to the amount of paper we wasted tbh. The girls at my school all knew how to make them, and would teach the boys how to. The boy ones were all much more, well, less cute than the girls, shall we say. Those fortune telling things were definitely a girl thing when I was in school. No guy knew how to make them. South Park so nailed that whole thing in the margarine episode. We called those paper things cootie catchers. IDKY. We did use them to tell fortunes. Camo colors. They somehow banned it school-wide because they were gang colors. Camo gang. How could they see the colors? You could tell if someone was wearing camo, if entire parts of their body were missing. Like if they had feet but no legs, with their torso floating in mid-air. When I was in junior high early 1990s they banned wearing anything black and gold. Because Latin kings, not even in our town, but the neighboring city, didn't bother me. I was not a fan of those colors together to begin with. Those rubber bracelets that denoted different causes that were popular in the early to mid 2000s. We ended up setting up a little black market for them with people trading, and different ones, and having their arms covered to the elbows in them. Wow, those bracelets belong in one of those what trends slowly disappeared without anyone realizing it? Threads. Those little skateboards, tech decks, we used to trade them, and cry over it. Rubber bands and ketchup packets. What happened with ketchup packets? Was it like the Captain Underpants book where they put ketchup sachets under the toilet seats? Depending on what phone you had, you could download an app that makes your phone a universal remote. You could control a lot of things including projectors. All you had to do was select the brand of the projector and it would work 9-10 times. Anyways, me and some friends kept turning off the projector during class or freezing the screen and they were absolutely clueless. Multiple other teachers came in to try and fix the projector, but eventually they caught on banned cell phones in the classroom. What is the name of the app? Carrot, I must know. It's more than you need a phone with an eye blaster. If yours has one, last one I can remember that wasn't garbage was the Note 4. Get a universal remote app and just point and click BB. Trolls. The little plastic ones with long fuzzy hair. I sold blow pops for $1 a piece. Everyone in the school was eating them and chewing gum. That was the end. I made good money. The bubblegum was good for about a minute because it had little pieces of sucker still on it. Then it quickly lost its flavor. Bleach. There was an entire black market candy ring when I was in middle school way back in '76. A couple of kids lived near a general store and they'd stock up before they got on the bus. Blow pops, Charm sweet and sour lollipops, remember those? And bubble yum gum sold like hotcakes, and at a significant markup, out of the boys' bathroom by the music wing. The ring got busted, parents got called, and all the candy was banned. In 3rd grade, a few kids got obsessed with the words cheese, FedEx, and camel. They said them all the time and those words got banned for the entire class. Very similar to something in my primary. There was a week that everyone started saying the catchphrase from adverts and everyone had different ones. There were arguments about who would say what phrase. I got the word food banned in class. Teacher called it the F word only to realize her mistake. Students were snickering. She clarified the F word that you put in your mouth and we all lost it. Was not 3rd grade though. It was 7th grade. Playing blackjack for nickels in the lunchroom. High school, those of us dealing were cleaning up. Then later in the school year we just started again and the teachers kind of ignored it. I was making several dollars, maybe 10 on a good day. This was early 70s, so $1 equals about $6 today. Gas was $0.35 a gallon. Cig is maybe 50 cents a pack. Pods with Alf on them. Remember Alf? The kid that started a tuck shop out of his locker. Went to a wholesaler's, bought some stuff, sold it, used the profits to buy more, repeat and repeat, until he's now staffing a child guard to stop shoplifting and renting other people's lockers for stock overflow. Our classroom just became kids queuing to buy sweets and energy drinks. Sometimes a line so long in 15 minutes he couldn't get everyone waiting served. Then, bam, banned, no selling anything on school property. Pretty much just aimed at this kid. Dude ended up stabbing someone, got expelled. No idea where he is now, but think his shop getting banned and being replaced with an overpriced healthy staff-run tuck shop squashed his entrepreneurial spirit. In elementary school my class was divided in 2 groups, penguins and rats. We would always go to our group for team assignments, for games, for anything really. Somehow an actual rivalry started to sprout until the whole school was divided in these 2 groups, with 1st and 2nd years getting into actual fights and stuff. Pretty soon the principal cancelled recess for a day and went to each classroom to tell us penguin team and rat team were banned. Others did create some smaller animal named groups after that, but they all dissolved pretty quickly. There's always a group of people who take it to an extreme. British Bulldog. Ouija boards in Catholic school. Conkers, because of health and safety. 2 years ago, my principal banned slime. I'm a teacher. I was stockpiling all my confiscated slime to create the ultimate teacher slime video, but then the principal updated the rule and said that all slime was to be thrown away on site, so I threw it away. The stuff is oddly satisfying, and I get why the kids loved it so much. It's also not that helpful during class. Happy powder, dry Kool-Aid powder mixed with sugar. Lick your finger and stick it in the bag to eat it. Kids were selling bags of it before the ban. In the school's defense, that sounds a lot like a drug cartel. Hatter, absolutely, I support the ban. No one should eat bags of sugar anyway. Kinda off topic, but we like to play rugby on concrete. School banned it, so we made a new game called football. Basically rugby, but you could only score with your legs or head. And Jad was totally fine. Yoga pants and leggings. I had already graduated, but my sister was a senior when this happened. Freedom, it's banned in every school. Teeter-totter tag, swing tag, sandbox tag, playing war with Go Fish cards, making spinners out of those little connecty blocks. Junk food. They used to have amazing food at the canteen, but then the Australian government implemented laws that schools could only sell healthy stuff like carrot sticks. Prior to that they had chips with collectible toys and stuff and sweets. But because of unhealthy kids whose parents cannot make them a packed lunch, they killed the whole thing. They even tried to make it exciting at my school to compensate for the lack of money spent at the canteen. I will say at 22 what I first said at 11. You cannot make a carrot, pear or any other fruit interesting by simply shoving it on a stick. When I was a kid, our church banned pogs, called it a form of gambling. All the parents decided to just get rid of their pogs. My dad was cool with pog, and he even machined a solid brass slammer for me. He talked with the parents, but couldn't change their mind on pog as it was a senior pastor who called for the ban. Long story short, all the church kids gave me their pogs, and I was now pog king at school. iPods. Not MP3 players in general, but iPods specifically. I think it even made the news, if I recall correctly. The teachers must have bought stock in soon. Tamagotchi. We would take care of them during class and got too distracted. Not my story, but my friend has the kid that makes and hides literal thousands of Moto bucks around the school. What would happen if someone found a Moto buck? Would Moto pop out and sing about how he likes them big and chunky? In middle school, starter jackets were all the rave, and they had these plastic barrel cord locks on the hood strings. People began stealing, collecting these, and displaying them like a sting of ears. They got banned. I had to Google what they were called, so till too. Dating myself here, but garbage pail kids cards. Looking back, those things were totally nasty, but we loved them. Fried chicken. For some reason it became ridiculously popular lunch in cafeteria, and for some reason the school administration decided to ban it. The whole event happened a few months before I joined the school, so I never know the full story, but apparently, the chicken ban triggered a series of student protest of multiple scale, and the ban was lifted a few months later. My first semester start after the dust has settled, but you can still see a lot of sign and vandalism. There is a "We want fried chicken" sign outside administration building that end up becoming a meme from the protest. Go out and try new things. You get one life to live, and you never know when your time on this earth is over. Travel, go out on dates, try new restaurants,